Rufus boy, let me love boy, I just know. Rufus boy, let me love me. Caught up in my tape.
Hey, it's your girl Miss Natural Journey, and this video is going to be all about breastfeeding. Yes, that is right. All about the boobies, as I like to call them. If you don't know, I had a baby almost exactly a year ago. Her birthday will be April 6th. It's absolutely crazy to think about how quickly this year has flown by. It's truly amazing. Like, she's standing, she's just doing all this stuff. She has this personality, and it just feels like just days ago I was learning to breastfeed her. I was, getting used to being a mom, and I feel like I got a year in the game, so I know a little bit, okay? So I want to share my knowledge with you all. And if you're watching this video, you're either pregnant, you know someone who's pregnant, you know someone who has struggled with breastfeeding, or you just like watching my videos. One or the other. Either way it goes, I'm glad you're here. Be sure to like this video if you enjoy it, of course. And subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notifications by pressing the little bell down below so that you are notified whenever I upload a video. And I plan to upload many more mommy videos. Now that I've hit almost a year, I feel like I've learned some things that I want to share with you guys. So be sure to stay tuned if you enjoy that. Other than that, I will be uploading a lot more story times, music reviews, movie reviews, hair tutorials, beauty related topics. So definitely stay tuned. This channel will be very entertaining. So with all that being said, let's get back to the boobies, okay? So growing up, I didn't really know anyone who breastfed. Like, not growing up, I was a kid. But I mean, coming of age, statistics show that, if you guys hear a noise in the background, that's baby girl banging on her high chair. It's crazy, right? So statistics show that African American women are one of the least percentage, like the lesser percentage of women who breastfeed. And I understand this. Like, breastfeeding is not easy to everyone. It was not easy for me. It's not easy for anyone that I know, honestly. But growing up, I thought breastfeeding was just weird. Like, I would see people out in the streets, like, covering the baby, and I'm like, what the heck are they doing? Like, that's just strange. But obviously, with growth and maturity, I learned they're feeding their baby, and it's the most healthy option for the baby. Now, this video is not at all created to make people who don't breastfeed feel guilty whatsoever. At the end of the day, all that matters is that your baby is healthy and he or she gets what he or she needs. Whether that's through formula. I know some women who give their baby goat milk, and I'm not an expert, so I don't know when they start giving their baby goat milk. So I'm just going to tell you guys about my experience and the things that helped me to be successful at breastfeeding. So let me tell you guys my story. If you watched my labor or my birth video where I tell, everything that happened when I had my baby, you would know some of this, but I'm going to recap for those of you who have not seen that video. So basically, I had my baby via C-section. Reason being is because she was completely breached. Her head was literally at the top of my belly. I could feel it. She never wanted to turn. And so I wasn't going to chance like having them trying to manipulate her position or any of that. I just wanted to have the C-section and just get it over with. I tried all the different positions to try to get her to flip. None of that worked, and I decided to just enjoy the last few weeks of my pregnancy without stressing over that. That being said, usually from the research that I did here on YouTube, just, looking online, usually they say that when you have a C-section, your body takes a little while longer to catch up to the fact that you just had a baby, and that may delay your milk. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to prepare to have difficulties with my milk coming in. It probably won't come in for maybe a week or so, who knows. I just have to prepare myself for that. She's really having a ball in there. So yeah, I had the C-section. Everything went perfectly. She was born perfect health, all that good stuff. And I stayed in the hospital obviously for like three or 4 days. And surprisingly, I actually have a video, and I'm not going to insert it because it is a bit private. Obviously, it was a special moment of when I first breastfed her. I didn't get to put her on the boob immediately because she was C-section. They had to clean her off, suction her, and all that stuff. So, and I was under medication, heavy medication also. So I didn't get to like, you know, breastfeed or do skin to skin right away. So I was a little nervous about that also. So what happened was they took her away, they cleaned her off, and like an hour later they brought her to me. And I was so nervous. I'm like, I know I don't have any milk, but I have colostrum, so I should be okay. Put her on the boob and she knew what to do. Like, it was just like that instinct. It was wonderful. Even before she got on the boob, she was moving her mouth like she wanted to suck on the boob. So, that came easy. It was wonderful. I was so happy. I was so thankful that was not a struggle. So she proceeded to eat a few times. And then all of a sudden she would not latch onto one of the boobs. And mind you, I'm in pain this whole time. Breastfeeding is painful. So if you are planning on breastfeeding, just know that there's a great possibility that it's going to be extremely painful. That pain eventually subsides. So if you stick with it, and I promise you it will get better. So, yeah, we're talking about you. So she's latched on, all good. A few hours later, I noticed that she wouldn't latch onto my left nipple. I didn't know why. I figured I was putting like Medela cream on it to kind of make sure it started bleeding a little bit, and it was just my nipples were getting used to being sucked on all the time. And so I put some of that on there, and I figured she just didn't like the flavor of it or the taste of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to put that on anymore. I'll just feed her from this boob. I ended up telling that to the nurse, and my sister-in-law, who's also a nurse, but she was there with me. She was there with me, kind of helping me through it. She has 3 kids. She breastfed all of them. So she knew what she was doing. And so she's there helping me position the baby and everything. And yeah, I'm like, she won't latch onto this one. So I'm feeding her onto this one. And she told me you have to kind of alternate, because if one gets engorged and you get mastitis, it's just going to be horrible. So I began to kind of panic. Like, why is she not latching on? I kept trying. And before I knew it, I think it was the first time I went to the restroom. They helped me up, took me to the restroom. I looked in the mirror and my boobs were swollen up to here, okay? Meaning my milk had come in. All the nurses kept saying, oh, it's colostrum, blah, 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 your colostrum. She needs colostrum, all this good stuff. And I'm just thinking, I saw like a little bit of residue on my boob, and I'm like, this is white and creamy. Like, is this how colostrum looks? I thought it was kind of clearish. So I didn't say anything. I just figured the nurses knew what they were talking about, but found out my milk actually came in the very next day. So that night, the nurse came in. She helped me kind of massage it a little bit. She didn't really know what she was doing because she wasn't a lactation consultant, but she kind of helped me a little bit. I believe she gave me like warm towels to kind of put on my boobs, and she even brought in a breast pump, and that was horrific. Yeah, trying to squeeze milk from its extremely engorged breasts are just not fun at all. It's not fun for anyone. So yeah, I'm just like struggling. I don't know what to do. My baby's not eating, and at some point I had to just have them take her to the nursery and give her formula because I couldn't feed her. She eventually stopped latching onto my right breast also. And as a mother, as a new mother, you want to breastfeed so bad. You're like, I don't want you to give them pacifier, formula, nothing from a bottle. I want to be breastfed completely 100%. But at some point, I had to just give in and just say, we need to work through this in order for me to continue breastfeeding. So, hold on one second. Whew. All right, so in order for me to continue breastfeeding and to eventually have success at it, I knew I had to just give in and say, this is what we have to do for now, but I'm going to keep trying as soon as I'm able to. So yeah, they had me pumping that night. I was unsuccessful with getting anything out. And yeah, it was horrific. Even at one point, to add like insult to injury, I had the breast pumps on, and she wasn't a nurse, she was like more like a nurse assistant who was working the night shift, came in and she's like, oh my God, that looks painful. And I'm like, if you don't get your out of here, I'm going to cut you, okay? I will cut you. So yeah, that just frustrated me even more. So yeah, I'm pumping, I'm squeezing. The next day I had the lactation consultant come in, and when I say that was the most painful experience ever, it was horrific. It was horrible. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but I knew that I wanted to breastfeed. So I had to get through this. I had to just do it. She came in. She said, yes, your milk has come in. You are engorged. And if we don't get this out, you're going to end up with mastitis. So she proceeded to massage my boobs that were extremely tender. Like to the touch. Like it was horrible. It was horrible. I felt like I had just got breast implants that had gone wrong. Okay. So anyway, she ended up massaging it. The baby latched on and then stopped latching on again. So at this point, I'm extremely frustrated. I'm like, maybe I'm just not meant to breastfeed. I don't know. This is just not going the way I thought it would go. Like, I was ready to just give up. My husband was there. He was telling me, you said you really want to do this. Like, I'm not going to let you give up unless you absolutely have to. My sister was there. She's like, oh, did you do this? Did you do that? This is what the nurse told you to do. Like, did you do this first? Blah, blah, blah. And so, basically all the way to the day that I left, I was engorged. I would squeeze a little bit out. She would latch on here and there, but I was just engorged. And so I went home. The nurse or the lactation consultant came and spoke to me right before I left. And she said, when you get home, I need you to pump on each breast, do the manual pump on each breast for 15 minutes. So that's what I did. I was extremely frustrated. I was in tears. I was overwhelmed. It was crazy. It was a lot going on, but I made it through. That manual pump did the trick, okay? And when I was home, kind of relaxed and just in my element, it just flowed out. I was able to pump a couple of bottles, give to the baby, and then she started to latch on. So basically what was going on is my breasts were so engorged, she could not wrap her mouth around my nipple. It felt uncomfortable for her, so she just stopped doing it. So if you are in the hospital and you notice that your breasts are getting extremely hardened and solid, talk to a nurse, talk to a lactation consultant, and see what they can do for you. So yeah, that was my issue. So that's my experience as far as beginning my breastfeeding journey. I solely breastfed her for about 8 months, and then I wanted to transition her to formula because I work full time. They do allow me to pump, but my supply was going down. It was time for me to stop. I started kind of getting frustrated and just like, I can't wait until I'm no longer breastfeeding. Like it was a lot of work to breastfeed to pump 3 times a day and then breastfeed. And it was a mess. And I wanted her to sleep through the night. So I'm like, okay, I need to start giving her a bottle. And I just wanted to transition her. So I started kind of mixing in formula and transitioning her. And at 9 months, she was completely transitioned to formula. Now, it's up to you. They say once you start kind of resenting breastfeeding, that's when it's probably time to stop. And that's after you've done it. And you just kind of get to a point where you're just like, this is just not working for me. You kind of just feel it. Either the baby leads you or you kind of lead you, or it's like a mutual agreement. And she did pretty well with transitioning. She's singing. She did really well with transitioning to bottle and to, she was already drinking bottle at the daycare, but transitioning to formula. She did pretty well with that. So it was a mutual agreement that it was time for her to drink formula. And so that's what happened. So along the way, there were times where, especially at the beginning, where I had to kind of manipulate my nipple. That's weird. I just had to kind of manipulate and minutia some situations to make sure the baby was able to latch on. So if you are having a hard time, look up the different positions that you can hold the baby in. Different positions you can hold the baby in that's going to be more comfortable for her, even laying down positions, even putting the baby on top of you. There's different ways that you can kind of maneuver this situation you don't just have to hold the baby one way and then boom. You can try different things, and it's best to just do a little bit of research and find out the different holds, like the football hold, laying down on your side. Like I said, that was a really good one, especially at night. Where you just lay down on your side and just let the baby do what she has to do or he has to do. And that worked very well for us. She's so silly. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming. There were times where I would put it on top of me. That would work out. And so also there's a certain way to hold the nipple where you basically cup it this way and you squeeze it so that it's easier for the baby to wrap their mouth around. So definitely try that. Like I said, look up. Research is abundant. Like, information out there is just a plethora of it. So never feel ashamed that you have to go and research something. It's for your own good. So when I transitioned her from breastfeeding. And also, let me back up just a little bit. So all the time that I was breastfeeding her, I would breastfeed her in public. If I would go to a restaurant, I would have to breastfeed her. I would do that. I would just use a nice cover that was easy to put on, and she eventually stopped liking the cover, but I would continue to use it anyway. So, you know, don't feel ashamed or nervous about breastfeeding in public. It's very common. And if someone comes up to you and says something, I mean, it's legal to breastfeed anywhere you go. And really, you don't even have to cover up. We choose to do that, obviously, for privacy. But if anyone gives you a dirty look, just let it be. And if anyone tries to tell you you can't breastfeed somewhere, you go ahead and you pull the law out on them, okay? And also, I made a funny video where my husband and I were just discussing like one-liners or like rebuttals to people who think it's weird to breastfeed in public. So check out that video. I'll link it up above. But yeah, don't feel weird about it. You do it a couple times and then it just becomes second nature. Baby starts crying, you just pop them on there and you're good to go. So eventually that was the case with me also. And so like I said, around 8 months, I started to just feel like this is a lot. And then my supply was going down. And so I knew it was time to start supplementing with formula. And I use Similac Sensitive. Actually, sometimes I even get the off-brand ones because it's literally the same thing, just a little cheaper. And my baby is a big girl, so she likes to drink a lot. She likes to drink a lot of milk. And so, yeah, Similac, it's the like non-dairy sensitive belly type. I just got that just to be safe. She's never had an issue with it. She transitioned well, and we just kept at it and kept giving her bottles. I started giving her a bottle of breast milk instead of breastfeeding her. And I started just with one less feeding a day and then progressed from there. I stopped feeding her at night. I would give her a bottle instead, and we just kind of progressed from there, and eventually she was completely weaned. And so that's my breastfeeding journey. Let me know if you guys have any questions about my experience. Like I said, I'm not an expert. The only thing I can share is my experience and the things that I went through and the things that helped me. But if you struggled with breastfeeding, comment down below and let me know what was your struggle and how you overcame it. And if you chose to just not breastfeed, you know, because you were struggling, you just decided to say, hey, this isn't for me, comment down below and let me know your experience. And like I said, be sure to thumbs up this video if you liked it. Subscribe. I would keep the mommy videos coming. So if that's what you're here for, definitely stick around. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.